I just want to spend some time with you guys today talking about testing, talking about neuropsych testing, talking about psych testing, and kind of demystifying it. So today we are going to be focusing on really what it is, and over the coming weeks we'll talk more about the different types. We'll talk more about what the scores mean, and then more about like your own assessment if this is something that you're interested in. So the topic is really today geared towards those who really have no baseline understanding of what assessment is. For those who are joining us that have some knowledge of assessment, hopefully some of the information I share with you will be just as useful. When you think about an assessment, some of the time, before I even go there, let me go back and say, as a clinical psychologist, as a clinical neuropsychologist, when people ask me what I do, the first thing that people say is, or ask me is, can you read my mind? Why? I don't know, but as a psychologist, no, I'm not a mind reader. At the same time, when they further inquire, like how I work with people's minds and I tell them I do assessment, then they want to know if their brain is broken. Often it's like, what's wrong with my brain? Why do I do this? Tell me if you can understand why I do this, those types of questions. And ultimately, when we say assessment or we say examination or we say psych testing, people have all sorts of images that are conjured in their mind. So in my experience, people feel like they're sitting behind a desk with a person who's wearing this lab coat. Other images are someone being poked or prodded with something. And then the last image is sometimes people do assume that it's going to be them being compared across a multitude of other individuals within either their same age or the same education level. And in reality, assessment is a combination of things. We're going to be talking about what assessment is and defining it. Over the course of this discussion today, we're going to be talking about reviewing goals and why assessments are necessary. We'll also talk a little bit about what an assessment entails. I will not be going into specifics about the exact types of measures. I think that would be doing you a disservice because everyone loves to Google things. Google is a great resource for learning some things, but you should never, ever, 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 ever diagnose yourself based on what you find in Google. And I'll explain a little bit more as to why. We'll talk some about why an assessment is necessary. And I'm not going to go into too much about how to prepare for an assessment. I realize it's a little misleading, but there are some things that you should do to prepare yourself for an assessment. And we'll briefly touch on that for this section.